Hi, everybody. Today's topic is understanding an AWS partner's superpower. This is Myer Media on behalf of PTP, and joining us today is Ethan Simmons from PTP. Ethan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me again. Feels like old times.
Always. In fact, I enjoy doing these with you. It's a great conversation, full of information. And speaking of that, I actually want to kick things off with our first question is AWS is self-service, meaning you provision what you need when you need it, but AWS is also partner-centric. Why do AWS customers need partners?
So, I mean, there's a couple of things. One, a lot of our customers, especially in the life sciences space, they don't have time. They don't have IT. They're usually in startup mode. They want to spend their money on trying to, find a cure for cancer or some other, malady that's out there, and they really don't want to spend time trying to learn how to self-provision AWS services. So, those customers would rely on a partner to, help them do that. Also, a lot of people say, well, I can just call AWS. AWS is great. They'll provide support and give you direction, but they won't put their hands on a keyboard either. So if you want someone to actually do the work or provide this service, a partner is a great way to go. If you have the team yourself, then that's great. But the other thing we just find too, though, is some of those customers, if they're a small environment, it's expensive to find a dedicated AWS engineer. They're going to get bored if you're not growing super fast. It's going to be hard to retain and keep that talent on staff. Work with an MSP that has a bench that's there 724 365 and can help you out when you need it. And you pay for it the same way you paid for it by the drip. You're not hiring someone paying a salary. You have an agreement with a partner to work on your environment as needed on an ad hoc basis, or sometimes it can be on a scheduled reoccurring basis.
I also look at it as you mentioned, kind of AWS will help you out, but they won't put hands to keyboard. AWS, the reason that is they're not scalable. They can't handle all their customers. They lean on their partners to actually help it out. And they have stronger expertise in some of those areas because they're very specific around those, like life sciences, you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, we even do work for AWS professional services. So they're, like you said, they can't scale. Usually their engagements are with, larger organizations. They don't have the number of employees to scale down for every single customer. So they even, they'll rely on a partner like us to do work on their behalf for their customers as well. But for most part, we do, we work directly with the end users and help them build their AWS environments.
Ethan, AWS has a number of competencies out there from like government, healthcare, media and entertainment, automotive, and everything. What are these AWS competencies and what do they really mean?
Yeah, so there's a couple different, there's sort of technical competencies and then there's industry competencies. So we hold the AWS Life Science competency. So we've been vetted by AWS and a third party. They put you through, I guess I'll call it grueling process to, basically prove that you have industry expertise, you have case studies, you have customers that you've done work for that are willing to say that, you've done a good job, you've come up with creative solutions, you have these case studies published. On top of that, also understanding different scenarios. And then you work with an AWS team that does that. And at the end of the process, there is an actual third party, that they bring in to do the audit and goes through requirements and make sure that you actually can do what you say you're going to do. And that's really on the industry side of things. And then on the technical competencies, there's competencies around migration or storage or day two operations. So a lot of those kinds are more specific to certain technical aspects of working with AWS. Um, we focus more on the industry specializations, but there's a bunch of partners out there that may want to be really good at doing migrations or be really good at providing storage services. There's a there's a whole plethora of them out there. There's also competencies or sometimes there are programs around like well architected reviews. So there's a program that we're part of that's validated to go out and provide these well architected engagements with customers to help them see where there may be gaps in how their environment would hold up against a well architected framework that AWS publishes. So there's also, I'm trying to think what else is out there. There's competencies around MSP, so that's actually a program, not a competency. But if you want to be a managed service provider and manage and maintain and govern a customer's environment, um, you know, there's a program for that, and the program basically does the same thing to make sure that you have, as a partner, the right tools, the right skills on staff, the right ways, the right um, services and tools again to monitor, maintain, and manage that customer's environment, and do it in a way that AWS is going to be comfortable that you're doing the right thing by the customer, and that the customer knows that they're already getting a partner that's been validated by AWS and a third party to provide those services.
Ethan, what competencies does PTP hold or might possibly pursuing?
Yeah, so like I said we have the life science competency, we have the well architected program competency, and then we are just about done and submitted, just waiting for final validation on the ML competency, the AI competency that AWS has. And then we're very close to finishing off the MSP competency. We've gone through most of the legwork there. There's been some changes in the requirement, but we're just catching up on some of that stuff. But we plan to, that's a goal for 2025 to attain the MSP competency. So,
Ethan, why work with an AWS partner versus others?
I mean, I don't think you can. The thing that we see is, and what I say is, you can't be good at everything. I mean, even you can't even be good at everything that AWS does. AWS turns out hundreds of services, new features, new offers. Any partner that says, "Hey, I can do everything that AWS throws out there," I'll call BS. But you can't be good at everything. So we focus on what you're really good at, and help those customers meet those needs that they have. And then there's other customers, there's other partners too that maybe they say they do all the hyperscalers. They do Google, they do Azure, they do OCI, they do Alibaba. I don't know, unless you're a massive organization that's like, I don't know, like I said, it's hard enough to just to do what AWS offers, never mind all the other hyperscalers as well.
I think it's really difficult to have a specialty in all the hyperscalers, like you mentioned, unless you're a massive organization, because each one has to have their own separate groups, their own separate pods to understand all the features and aspects of it.
Yeah, even to be an AWS partner, now never mind the competency piece, you have to have the right individuals with the right certifications to fill, the prescribed roles that are needed to, successfully, service a customer. AWS always talks about being customer obsessed. I think we share that obsession with making sure customers are satisfied and they're getting the best solutions possible from us. Um, we always like to tell AWS they need to be partner obsessed as well. So, and we're definitely seeing that it's come a long way. The AWS partner program has really matured over the last 3 or 4 years. So it's very, it's getting up there with, what we see from other IT providers. And it's been, it's been an interesting journey, but I think that maturity is definitely being seen in how AWS is leveraging partners now to go out and help them scale. Where before, the AWS model was maybe a little bit more direct, and AWS sellers were maybe a little bit leery of working with a partner. But now that's definitely changing, and they're realizing that, hey, if we're going to compete with all the other hyperscalers out there, and at the same time deliver high quality solutions to our customers, in order to meet that customer obsession need, we need a partner base that can do that on their behalf.
Partner obsession, and then allows both of you to grow and actually help and support the customer obsession. Ethan, what does it really mean to understand like an AWS superpower or to have an AWS superpower?
We always chuckle. We always think the word superpower is a little corny at times, but I don't know why it's something that's always been. I think the first conversation we ever had with AWS is, "What's your superpower?" So it was definitely hard to answer when we first got started, but we've definitely hyper verticalized around life sciences. So I think our superpower is, it's not a technical thing per se. It's more of, what we say is that we're helping life science companies accelerate the pace of their drug discovery, of their therapy discovery. So can we help our customers, find a cure for cancer faster? I always tell, we got involved in this because I probably told you this story before, but we're not, we're a bunch of computer geeks or reformed computer geeks. and we're not going to go out and save someone's life, but if we can help these customers go out and um, do their research faster, find a cure faster, then you know we play a little tiny part in that. But that's something that we were able to add to the overall value of those companies.
When you interview with AWS, one of the things that they actually ask is, what is your superpower? And you have to really think about it, be like, superpower? I mean, like, am I a superhero? But in an aspect, you're specializing something, you're dedicated to something, and you're dedicating all of your time to actually focus on that and help customers achieve that.
Yeah, it's yeah, you definitely need to have that understanding of what value do you really add, and I think that's what customers look for. If we just said, "Hey, our superpower is that we have great AWS engineering resources," not really a superpower, sort of table stakes. But hey, we have really good engineering resources that know the applications that a life science company uses to do drug discovery. Much more valuable, much stronger superpower, I guess, to have when you're
It's
talking
a
to
specific superpower.
specific superpower. Yeah, anti kryptonite. So yes.
I like that. How do you actually differentiate other companies or other partners and their superpowers between, unique capabilities?
It's pretty interesting. I think the market, we're seeing more and more instances where, because not one partner can do everything, we're starting to see instances where three or four partners are working together to solve a customer problem. And they each bring something unique to the table. They each have their own unique superpower per se, and they're bringing that to serve the customer. And you see definitely AWS in their partnering model, um, definitely being open to having multiple partners involved. And it's a little awkward. Sometimes you're competition, sometimes it's cooperation, but you're definitely seeing that more and more as some of the solutions get more and more complex, and you need specific expertise in certain aspects of the um, you know how to operate and run in AWS.
Ethan, I'm going to wrap things up with my last question, but what capabilities with respect to AWS are on the horizon for PTP?
I think continuing to expand, really around day two operational support. So the MSP piece that we talked about, we're building out the people, process, and tools to do that better. A lot more automation. So how do we do the work for our customers and be smarter about it, do it faster, deliver more value? And that's really what we're focused on. And also, I'd say also just continuing to be creative around the engineering resources and having the right skill sets that are unique to our customers. So we spend a lot of time, when I say being creative, coming up with unique solutions based on a customer will come to us and say, I'm trying to move this genome sequence from this instrument in the lab. How can I get this to to AWS so we can run this in a workflow in our high performance compute cluster? It takes a bunch of different people to know how to make that, but as we've done it and it's been a repeatable process, we're able to do that and do that faster than a partner that all of a sudden just gets thrown into it and has never done it before.
All right. Well, Ethan, thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, likewise. Well, everybody, our topic today was understanding an AWS partner's superpowers. This is Myer Media on behalf of PTP, and we're out of here.